Once upon a time, nestled in the heart of a sun-drenched, cheerful farm, lived a little piglet named Pip. Pip was as round as a ripe berry and as pink as a sunrise. His days were filled with happy giggles and the exciting pursuit of collecting things. He had a magnificent collection of crisp, red apples, an array of colorful, quirky toys, and a jar that shimmered with shiny, beautiful buttons. Pip adored his treasures, spending hours arranging them, counting them, and admiring them. He loved his apples, he loved his toys, and he loved his buttons. But there was one thing Pip didn't love, and that was sharing them. "These are my apples," he'd squeal if Daisy the duck waddled a little too close to his apple pile. "My toys," he'd oink protectively if Barnaby the bunny hopped near his favorite spinning top. His friends would watch from a distance, their ears drooping a little. They loved Pip's cheerful spirit, but they longed to be part of his world, to share in his games and laughter. Pip, however, was content in his little world of possessions, not realizing that the walls he built around his treasures were also keeping his friends out. He thought having all the best things for himself was the key to happiness. One bright and particularly sunny afternoon, Pip was busy organizing his button collection by color. He had just found a pearly white button, and it was the perfect addition to his set. He looked up, expecting to see his friends nearby, ready to admire his latest find, but the farmyard was unusually quiet. He saw Daisy the duck dipping her beak in the pond far away, all by herself. He spotted Barnaby the bunny munching on a lonely carrot under the old oak tree. Even Freddy the frog, who usually loved to watch Pip's antics, was sitting on a lily pad, looking bored. One by one, his friends had slowly wandered away. They weren't angry, just a little sad. They felt left out, like they weren't welcome in Pip's fun. Playing near Pip's treasure hoard without being able to join in just made them feel lonely. So, they found other things to do, leaving Pip surrounded by his precious collections, but completely and utterly alone. At first, Pip didn't mind. "More room for me to play," he thought. He rolled his favorite red ball. It bounced off the fence and rolled to a stop. No one was there to chase it back. He tried to build a tower with his blocks, but it wasn't nearly as fun without someone to gasp when it got really tall, or giggle when it inevitably tumbled down. He lined up all his shiny buttons, but there was no one to say ooh and ah at how they sparkled in the sun. The giggles that usually filled the air around him were gone. The silence felt heavy. The sun was just as bright, his apples were just as red, but a great cloud of sadness had settled over Pip's little heart. He sat down with a heavy sigh, his snout drooping. He was surrounded by all the things he loved, but he felt emptier than ever. What was the point of having the shiniest button or the bounciest ball if there was no one to share the excitement with? As he sat there, feeling very sorry for himself, a memory floated into his mind. It was a memory from last week, when he had accidentally tripped and sent a whole basket of apples tumbling down the hill. His friends had all rushed over, not to take his apples, but to help him gather them. And as they all scrambled and slipped and giggled, picking up the rolling fruit, Pip had felt a warmth spread through his chest. It was the sound of their shared laughter, the feeling of being together. He remembered how happy he felt in that moment, not because of the apples, but because of the friendship. Suddenly, Pip understood. His treasures weren't the source of his happiness. The real joy came from the moments he shared with his friends. The laughter, the games, the simple act of being together, that was the real treasure. A new energy sparked inside him. He knew exactly what he had to do. With a determined oink, Pip sprang into action. He scurried over to his apple pile and picked out the biggest, juiciest ones. He ran to his toy chest and gathered his bounciest balls and his tallest building blocks. He even grabbed his jar of shiny buttons. He wasn't worried about them getting lost or broken anymore. He was on a mission. He trotted over to the pond. "Daisy," he called out, "would you like to share a snack? I brought the sweetest apple just for you." Daisy's eyes lit up, and she waddled over with a happy quack. Next, he found Barnaby under the oak tree. "Barnaby, let's see who can build the tallest tower before it falls," he squealed, holding up the blocks. Barnaby's long ears perked up, and a smile spread across his furry face. He called out to Freddy the Frog and all his other friends, inviting them all back to his favorite spot. Soon, the farmyard was buzzing with life again, but this time, it was different. Pip wasn't just showing off his things, he was sharing them. He and Daisy took turns bobbing for apples in a bucket of water. He and Barnaby built a magnificent, wobbly tower that made everyone cheer when it finally crashed down. They used the shiny buttons to create sparkling patterns on the ground, a mosaic of shared creativity. Laughter filled the air, louder and more joyful than ever before. Pip looked around at his friends, their faces bright with smiles, and his heart felt so full it could burst. He realized something incredibly important that day. Sharing didn't make his treasures smaller or less special. In fact, it did the opposite. Sharing his apples made them taste sweeter. Sharing his toys made the games more exciting. Sharing his joy made his heart feel bigger and warmer than he ever thought possible. From that day forward, Pip was still a collector, but he was also a sharer. His little corner of the farm became the most popular spot, a place of games, laughter, and friendship. And Pip the Piglet became known not for the wonderful things he owned, but for the incredible joy he so generously shared with everyone around him. And he learned that the greatest treasure of all isn't something you can hold in your hands, but something you share from your heart. Thanks for watching our story today. If you enjoyed Pip's adventure, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fun stories from the farm. We'll see you next time.